This is the Open Mic Podcast, brought to you by the Richland Source Podcast Network. I'm your host, Noah Jones. In this episode, I sat down with members of the rock band Fiendish Thingy. We spoke about their music, their band's 30-year history, and adding sprinkly bits to make the perfect recipe for a song. Here's our interview. Enjoy. Fiendish Thingy, thank you all so much for sitting down with me in the 4th Street Richland Source Podcast Studio Network podcast building. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, Noah. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here with you guys. You guys are living the dream. You know, I've always wanted to be in a band, and you guys have done it for 30 years. Talk to me a little bit about what that's like.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
With these guys, it's a really long time.
I can see from your face that it's too long.
The wrinkles, the gray hairs.
I think we started out, I was just looking for somebody to play with that liked the same kind of music I did. And Matt was referred to me by a mutual friend. And we got together and started playing some stuff.
So you guys hadn't met before you guys started. You guys met through music, if you will.
Yeah. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What kind
I
of
thought
music?
you guys met at like Recordland or something.
I think after we made contact, Matt came in to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I worked at Recordland, so
Yeah.
he came in and we.
What is Recordland?
Yeah, so there used to be these things called records.
I'm familiar with
They're
the
made of
subject.
vinyl. There were whole stores that sold them.
Full of it.
Yeah.
It sounds like sort of Legoland, where people just go and sit on a rotating circle for
That would be-
hours and hours.
Oh my God.
And the fun is over when you start vomiting. Because you're just so nauseous.
Yeah, that kind of describes it.
It was Brian Early. Brian Early was our mutual friend. Brian Early is now playing with Departure, which is that
Yes,
Journey
I know
tribute
them.
band. Yeah.
I've written a story about them. They're crazy. They're crazy good. I just think it's so interesting. I've never been in a cover band. I've never been in a band, but
Yeah.
I just think it'd be so much fun to get to play
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Journey songs because
Yeah.
Don't Stop Believing. All the songs are just so great.
Yep. So but you're a musician too. So you because I saw you playing over at
Sorry.
Kathy's place.
Yeah, I do play.
But you've never played in a band.
Well, I have never been asked to play in a band, and the one person that I did ask kept on sort of showing his disinterest, and then we met up with each other one day, and he had a really nice guitar on his couch, and I started to play, and I was like, "Did you get a new guitar?" And he goes, "No, it belongs to someone else." And I was like, "Oh, who?" And he tells me the name, and he goes, "I'm sort of in his band." And I was like, "Oh, that's shitty." So that's why currently I am a solo artist, because I haven't quite gotten over that heartbreak.
Yeah.
But you've done your own CD. And,
Yeah, I have my own album, and it's available on Spotify and stuff. And
Well, we're
written
going
a
to
few
turn this
music.
around someday, and we'll interview you.
That would be fun. Maybe we will. But let's talk a little bit about some of the songs. We completely avoided the whole introduction portion, and that's my fault. Let's go around the table, starting with you, Matt, and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do with the band.
Matt Boggs. I'm the singer and the guitar player for Fiendish Thingy. Sometimes I play a little bit of keys on some of the songs that you'll hear. There'll be some keys. Alex plays keys as well. That's me.
Do you write most of the songs as well then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the lyrics, general chording, and then we all get together and break it down and build it back up.
Cool. What about you?
Mike Marks, I'm the bass player and do a lot of backing vocals, and I'm also known as the cute one. So
The cute one. I see it for sure.
Yeah,
For
right.
sure.
He's our poster pinup boy. I'm Alex Boggs, Matt's brother, younger brother, the drummer, and in the studio, I do a lot of the engineering and production work. Like Matt said, play some keys, play some guitar. Live, I'm the drummer.
Okay, cool. So why Fiendish Thingy and not the Boggs Brothers?
That's all Mike,
'Cause
actually.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's good
remember.
alliteration, I think. The Boggs Brothers.
Yeah, early on, I'd moved down to Columbus, and I don't know, I'd been drinking and watching the Beatle movie Help, and there's a line in that, and for some reason when George Harrison says it, for some reason when he said it, it just clicked with me, and I think these guys.
Well, you were drunk.
Yeah.
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 The funny thing is,
So
that
were Matt and I.
We were drunk when he called.
But we were
great.
But we were drunk in Mansfield. Okay.
And I called them up right away, and I said, I got the name, and they seemed to like it, so
Was that a-
were
was it-
we drunk?
With quotes.
Yeah, with quotes.
Quotes around the microphone,
Right.
just so that people can hear the airwaves.
Right.
Yeah, the official version is drunk.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah. Well, 30
Yes, so.
years ago.
Yeah, I guess so.
It'll be alright, and always will. The earth moves, but the heavens stay still. And everything is what you make it. Looking for a sign, smoking Miss Kathy Sunshine.
I mean, the quote marks sound as though we were talking about being drunk with quotes. Kathy Sunshine, right? Is that sort of a legalize it sort of song, right?
So no, it actually isn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I can see why you would think that.
I did it first.
Yeah, I think everyone did. So
No,
it's actually a letter to my kids. So yeah. So if the words itself is me sort of giving them sort of more fatherly / sort of spiritual advice in a roundabout way. Like all the songs I write, there's multiple themes. There's, I try to blend these ideas. The smoking Miss Kathy Sunshine is taking sunshine that a person has, and they say, well, you should bottle that sunshine, right? So that you can repeatedly go back to it or sell it or whatever. And I thought, don't bottle it, let's smoke it. And I think it's funny, but I think that it's a good sort of catchy phrase for a song. But yeah, it's not a drug song at all.
Yeah.
Well, there's that song that's like, I'm happy, I'm feeling sad, I got sunshine in a bag and I'm useless. So that's why I thought it was sort of like a early 90s saying to call your goods sunshine or something. I don't know.
Well, I remember when we were recording it, you were.
But we can make it that.
Sure. All right.
It's my kid's favorite song too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were recording it, you were kind of apprehensive about using the term smoking.
That's right. I remember that.
Was
yeah,
I?
You were thinking about taking that out, and we're like, no, you got to keep that. So.
Yeah.
What was your apprehension?
Just because of like how what you just said. Really,
Gotcha.
It's like, okay, it's a drug. Oh, so now are we condoning whatever? And it's like, well, no, it's not even that. It was really just like a catchy riff,
Gotcha.
as far as words.
It was our shot at getting on High Times, the cover of High Times.
Fail it, I guess.
We had it was on a couple podcasts back the time that we put it out. That back then you could easily get on podcasts and.
Well, you still can if you know the
right people.
Well,
I suppose so.
Here
seems
you
like
are
it's
on the Open Mic
changed, though.
podcast. It doesn't get much better than this.
And so they would play it, and it was kind of cool to tune in and hear it.
What was your maybe most popular or maybe most hyped song? Have you guys ever been on a radio station or anything through the 30 years?
We were on the radio station here. What was it called? Not CLW, WCLW?
I don't even remember the callers.
Y105.
Y105.
So in the 90s, they played an older version of All This Falls that we had done.
Okay.
I think we did it in Chillicothe.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
That song's been recorded lots of times.
Multiple times by several different bands.
Yeah.
Did they play?
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
I used to play in a band called
It's
Tonex.
your original, though, right?
Yeah, it's ours.
That's
yeah.
pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Flattering for sure that people enjoy it so much.
I was in the band, so not really. No.
Oh, I take everything I just said back.
Yeah.
Did they play that on the Ashland station too?
I
yeah.
think so.
I think Ashland College played it too.
Yeah.
So what is All This Falls? What is that one about?
That's
TV guide.
I was having a session with a couple friends, a drinking session at the Walnut Lounge. when
No,
that
is
was
this
still
a
thing.
quotation drinking?
No,
session?
this is real,
this is
real beer.
Okay.
And, whiskey and whatever. And this was in '86, and I just remember walking out, and just kind of blinking and just looking at the City Mill building. And it says Honest Scrap on the side of it. Have you noticed that building? Yeah.
I'm
so
not sure I have seen that.
yeah, so that and just looking at Mansfield was pretty bombed out back then. Even Main Street was pretty grungy, until they came in and
It's pre-carousel days.
yeah, pre-carousel and
I love how everyone blames the carousel for.
Oh, it's not
making it-
it's not blaming
No,
the
no, no.
carousel.
Gives credit. My sincerest apologies. I mean, I think it's great, but I loathe having to hear the same music every time I step out to go to any restaurant or anything in downtown Mansfield. It's rough, okay? It's rough.
I could see that.
You can't be in our carousel cover band then.
Yeah.
No troops are marching for me.
So part of that song is about Mansfield and about rust. And then, like all my other songs, there's multiple themes. It's also about just lifelong ideals or thinking that something is a certain way forever and it just falling down.
That's sort of what I got across. From
That's
it, too.
really that's the main point. But the first bit, the first phrase there is a nod to Mansfield, and and to Mansfield's credit and to the Carousel's credit. I don't care what you say, Noah, but
That's fine. You don't have to.
they're doing better. This is rising out of the rust, right?
Right. Yeah.
Used to be a time where we'd go walk along the rooftops through here. I don't know that if you could do that now because there'd be too many people.
Yeah.
Back then, there was nobody. I mean, you were kind of just doing whatever you wanted.
We came down years ago and did to take some pictures, some band pictures and some video and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were able to get up on top of buildings and stuff, and everything was just pretty much closed up. And it's pretty remarkable to see it now. I mean, it's great.
Well, we're possibly doing a photo shoot on top of a building today for the Gone But Not Forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us. I mean, we'll just sort of skip ahead and then fall back and then go ahead again. I have no real
Sorry,
agenda
I just
here. No worries.
Shot
Tell me-
holes into your plan.
Yeah, no, I have no plan.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the show you're doing.
You want me to go?
Hmm?
So the artist, Robin Shoup Wilson, Alex and I have known since high school. And she's done these sketches of Bob Marley, Tom Petty, David Bowie, Chris Cornell, many others. And she's done a really good job. And it was her idea to have a art music fest with those pictures that she's done, and then live music to cover the songs of those artists that have passed. So we're one of 4 bands that are going to do this event on July 21st. I don't know if this will air before then, but it's at the Phoenix Brewing.
I saw the sign while
Yeah.
peeing at the.
That's the target
the-
audience.
Their advertising is on point for sure. Right?
Point.
That urinal budget paid off.
So that's.
I think you mean their piss poor budget.
But
So we did Artie Street for Kathy.
Right.
She was nice enough to find a slot for us. We've got Gone But Not Forgotten. We have the Pride event, Mansfield Pride, we're doing, and we have a gig at La Luna, September.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So-
That's awesome. And I mean, all of those venues are going to be really fantastic. I've never been to the Gay Pride Festival here in town. I just spoke with the president of the Gay Pride Association, Todd Rice, for an article that I wrote it's already been written, but it hasn't come out yet because it's not until like September, right? September 4th or August 4th or something.
Yeah, it's
far
August
away.
4th. Yep.
August 4th, okay. And so it's a bit away from being published, but I think it's so important that we have something
Yeah.
like that, just because, I mean, politics aside, I think people are people, right? And it's really important for us to be able to allow these people to have just a moment. I mean, I realize that's so pathetic that they need a moment to be themselves, but that's, I mean, Todd Rice made it very clear to me that like that one day is their day to get to be who they are and to forget about all of the strife that they have to go through by being different.
And they have for ever since I've been around. It's been like that. So yeah, I think there's hopefully some real positive change coming. So I mean, there already is, or there was until recently. But you just want to keep that momentum for them. I consider myself an ally, so I fully support them.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Fantastic. The 4 allies in this room. So,
well, you probably couldn't hear my head nod on a podcast.
No, I think the microphone caught
Did
the
it catch that?
airwaves, the rush of air, the little pop. That was all
Same
you.
with your air quotes.
Yeah. You're not great for podcasts. You're more meant for vodcasts.
How does radio work?
O'Clock Rush, another song that I wanted to talk a little bit about. That sort of seemed to me, I'm not an expert in your music writing, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it sort of is sort of talking about like almost like with the rat race of life, right?
It's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the themes. The rat race, the 8 o'clock rush to get to your job, to pay for things that you don't need, to contribute to the American way, which is consumerism, And there was another thread in there about people need to belong, and Christianity being like a club. So I did have a little bit of a dig, on the people with the Jesus fish stickers.
Jesus fish sticker.
Fucking cut me off on 270. Pricks.
Well, they're going to hell.
What would Jesus do? He wouldn't fucking cut me off.
That's very true. But he would be going a lot slower on this donkey.
Slower, blessing people as he went.
Right, yeah. Waving to the little kids.
I love that song. I love playing that song.
Yeah, it's
which
a fun song.
we haven't played that in a while.
No, that's going to be La Luna.
We got to break that back out.
We're going to break all the good stuff out for La Luna.
Yeah. And I love the lyrics in that song. I live in Dublin, down in Columbus, and like the phrase "late for your coffee play date." That's just like, oh god, that's fucking Dublin. That is just.
Well, they got their cell phone up on their driving Escalade, and it's just them. There's no one else on the roads.
Right. Right.
So how do you guys feel about the songs that, like, some of your first batches of songs? I don't know when you wrote the songs that we've already talked about, but how do they compare to the now sort of thing?
All
like
This
that?
Falls is the oldest of those that we've talked about. And then the newest ones, well, Kathy and 8 O'Clock were written around the same time, and that was, the late 90s, early 2000s?
Actually, I would say that's more like 2006, 2008.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Time has no meaning for me.
No.
Okay. That's fair. It's good to be able to admit that to yourself. Yeah.
I think
I mean, you've already mentioned that you're late to your coffee dates. So.
Right. To my, their coffee play dates.
I'm sorry. You're right. My fault. Sorry.
well, the biggest thing with the songs we do now, or have done recently, is we have pretty much a studio set up in Alex's basement, and we have a lot of it's so great now because you can record at home. You don't have to go pay for a studio or that, and you can take your time. And you can experiment and try different things, and I think you listen to stuff now. It's much more complex with the stuff we're doing compared to the old stuff. We're recording at home on a 4-track, or we get one evening down in Chillicothe at the recording workshop or something, and it's like we can really experiment more now and try different stuff. So
sometimes too much.
Yeah, too much.
Are you done yet, Alex? Are you done? Have you mixed that? Are you done?
Well,
and I'm not kind of a perfectionist. I will spend way too much time on just
OCD.
one little. Yeah, it's not a little OCD. Like on just one phrase.
Gotcha.
I will take days and days on one phrase.
In terms of recording it?
Not recording.
Or
No,
writing
mixing it.
Oh, okay.
And,
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he does the recording, he does the drums, and he does the producing. All the production is him.
Gotcha.
And then he adds guitar parts that he doesn't ask me about
No,
before he does
no.
it. He
Yeah.
just goes and does
Yeah.
it.
And
And make it better.
It's usually pretty good.
and he finishes up, and then I send him a text. Hey, take this line and run it backwards or something, or put something on it, and then it's like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, Michael said, put something on it. And I know what it's like, oh, okay, all right. No, and I'll experiment with that, putting something on it, and have 3 or 4 different ideas and send it back to them. And
Those are the sprinkles. Those
yeah,
are
the sprinkles.
bits.
The sprinkly bits. Yeah, put some sprinkly bits on it.
So
That's the direction I get. Put some sprinkly bits on it.
This is a phase of a Fiendish song.
And then they wonder why it takes me 5 goddamn years to finish it.
The concept, right? Lyrics and basic outline, the draft rehearsals with them, the recording, and then the sprinkly bits, which is usually like handshakers, maracas.
Yeah.
synth,
Lots of shakers.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's
You
almost all
listen in
shake.
the background to any of our songs.
I will.
Kathy's Sunshine.
There's shaker
There's
in
hand
there.
claps going on.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I always try to sneak an acoustic guitar in there just to piss Matt off.
Oh yeah? What's wrong with an acoustic guitar?
I mean, he didn't. I don't think you did it on 8 O'Clock Rush. There's some songs that you just don't use an acoustic guitar for.
I may have done
Sister
it.
Sunshine.
I may have
Sister
done it
Moonlight.
and put the fader all the way down.
Just to make yourself happy.
We just had
Just a little
air
screw
birds.
you.
I don't think the mic picked that up. I'll have to slap the explicit rating on this one. How about the cultural significance, though, of your songs? Do you feel like they may have changed? I've sort of, I mean, not that it's culturally significant, because most of my songs are goofy love songs, but there are stages in my life where I'm like, oh, you know, I sort of wrote this as sort of a bullshit song, but like now it's like relevant, or like now the song, even though I wrote it years before I met this person, this song is about her now. Do you guys feel like there's
definitely
songs
had
like that?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
I don't know that with 8 O'Clock Rush, I think still is relevant.
Yeah.
Kathy, yeah, just because it's a little more ethereal, so you can apply it to any time of your life probably. All This Falls, definitely. I think that's what we're seeing. I think that some ideals are crumbling, and I think that they probably should. And,
like what?
And that's, well, so one of the lines in there is about Bo Peep was a man, and I mean this was 1986,
right?
And so it was taking fables and children's stories, nursery rhymes, and just saying, oh, you know what, Bo Peep had a dick, and just for shock value, if nothing else, just for the shock of it. And so I think that's happening now. Some of our other songs, especially "Not Your America," is wow. That is like that is definitely happening now.
Yeah, that
definitely
song
applies better now. I was angry when I wrote it in late '80s, and it meant something to me back then, and well, to all of us. But now I think it'll. I think a lot of other people can pick up on it now.
Yeah, you can. That song's still kind of. It's kind of ever since we wrote it. It seems like it's always been. Relevant.
It's always been relevant. Yeah.
I mean, there's what the line Reagan speaks to his nation.
That's
when
so,
we wrote it.
So ignorant in his occupation.
In his occupation. You could pretty much plug any president's name.
I've plugged every president in since, and I'm happy to do this one.
Point of procedure, Mike. That's a different song, but that's catastrophic. We're talking about Not Your America.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, you are right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
out.
delete that out.
No,
of
do
the
you play
podcast.
bass? Do you play bass? No.
I don't play bass very well. No, I have no idea.
Not Your America is not relevant at all.
I you know what? Most of the songs Matt writes are pertinent not only at the moment or at the time they're written, but they seem to have, stood the test of time. My impression is that, with a few exceptions, most of your songs are, and I'm looking at Matt, by the way. Most of your songs are very pointed. I can think of The Watcher as an example of one that it was just us screwing around.
Yeah.
That entire song was based on a riff that Mike came up with, and Matt saying "mechanical sex toy." and
Sounds like a fun night.
It was. Yeah. There are other jams that I've kept and given names to describe,
Charlene was a jam.
Oh, Charlene. Yeah, I guess it was, wasn't it?
I think the only
Yeah.
time we ever really sat down and said, okay, no ideas, we're just going to go down and we're just going to come out of here with a song was Sister Moonlight, right?
No.
You had
No,
that.
I
You
know.
had that written.
Strong
What was the other
disagree.
one?
Yeah.
What was the other one?
The Watcher's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
That we didn't have much.
We didn't have any.
I had some
really.
lyrics written down, and those are the lyrics I sang.
Yeah.
And they-
That was almost based entirely on your riff, Mike.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
and-
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm wrong again,
Yeah.
and you guys had to
Can,
point it
can we
out.
cut
Learn the bass, Noah.
All right, I'll work on it.
Can we cut his mic?
He's falling apart.
I see it differently, but
So I'd like to go back and talk about "Not Your America" because this is a song that I haven't heard.
No.
And I'm bummed because I think that this is a song that a lot of the people who have been sad for this entire presidency would look back on and reflect in a way that could be reflective.
Do we have a good recorded version of that we could get him?
I mean, no, not good, not
Yeah.
anything that would compare to what we've given him now. but
It's 4-track stuff. It's old.
It was it was done in a basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could definitely play it at La Luna, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we definitely will. I mean, the first line is Congress writes another rule, molding us into stupid fools. This is law. This is a fact. Too ignorant to fight it back.
So yeah, I mean that could have been published yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's just so much angst, especially right now with like the whole immigrant separation of families, zero amnesty, all of that stuff. It's just a nightmare right now, and I don't know if "Not Your America" is really the right word because look back at the Trail of Tears, look at when we took Japanese families and forced them into
Internment camps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I mean, unfortunately, this sort of is the America that we've had ever since. It's just different forms of it. And I'm going on a soapbox, and I'll step down. But like, damn.
Well, you're not wrong with what I had in mind, but it was more grassroots. It's like, hey, President, this is not your America. Hey, Congressman, this is not your America. It was more of thinking of the people that I'm singing it to, talking to. It's us, right? And we do have still a little bit. We still do have some control, but you got to be active. What I keep thinking, especially over the last couple of years, is that it's hard work to do this, to be active in politics. But now is the time to do it. Which, however you feel, now is the time to do it because it just feels like it could easily slip away.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what the answer is, and I'm not sure that anyone does.
Nah.
it feels like some of the stuff that we were angry about or wrote about in the 80s and stuff, it seems, I don't know, today seems to make that stuff seem minor in a lot of ways,
Yeah, well, I mean,
I was
so
thinking that too.
I was born in 1992, so I wasn't even culturally really or politically aware until
94 or 95.
Yep, exactly.
About the third birthday.
That was the
Yeah.
Barney show. That one time Barney.
No, but I don't think I was really even paying attention until this current election, and because if I'm being honest with you guys, I was so positive that Obama was going to win that I didn't vote either time because I was in college and that was my excuse, and so when I voted for Hillary Clinton and she lost, that was like the first time ever that I had lost something that I was so passionate about. I mean, and I'm just a spoiled person maybe, but like, oh man, I didn't cry, but like I was in just the worst attitude for the following weeks, and like everything that I was afraid of happening has seemingly happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. like obviously you guys have lived through Bush and Reagan, and it seems to me that I understand your politics a little bit. What do you do? How do you survive these things?
There's not much you can vote.
You
Right.
Keep voting.
You still got to have your life, right? I mean, if you got a house, you still got to pay for your mortgage. And this is why I think that another reason that it makes it hard is like you have to do all these things. You have to work, whatever, to have the cash flow, to live the life that you want to live. So you got to get on with that. But it's I think it's just being aware and voting. I mean, I don't want to be sort of evangelical about politics. Everyone's entitled, and
Absolutely.
And I think I like that I have friends who are conservative and Trump supporters even, and I like that we're still friends. I want to understand their side. I know I'm probably never going to see it. And when it comes to racism and bigotry, I will never. But other than that, you know, if a conservative has some ideas, you know, on the political stage, if they're not throwing the Bible at me, I'll listen to them. When they start flapping the Bible around, I just turn off.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like I'm not going to have that book write laws.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think the separation of church and state is a scary thin line at the moment, and I don't know much about
I don't think there
politics, but
I don't think there is much separation right now, personally.
no,
not
I don't
really.
either, and I think it's mostly because Donald Trump just doesn't know enough about the Bible, so he's letting Scott Pruitt, although he's stepping down, and Mike Pence do a lot of the law.
He
ruling.
knows his crowd.
Yeah, he's got it
He
pinned.
knows that he's got them on his side, and they're on
Despite
his
his
side.
three divorces.
They're on
and-
his side because they believe that he will shut down abortion, that he will, you know, change things to fit into their worldview, and so they support him, and he's going to do whatever his supporters, who he believes his supporters are.
Better the devil they know than the devil they don't.
Yeah, all 37% of his approval rating.
Yeah.
I am sort of losing focus because I just got so entrapped in this conversation. So just let me stumble through talking points here. We just tell me a little bit more about the 30 years of you guys being together, and have you've said you've played in other bands, but you've been with Fiendish Thingy as well. What's that like? What is that like in terms of mixing it up but staying true to your main band?
I just
Or any of you, yeah.
Yeah.
it's like you said, we've done other things. It's been off and on. I know, Matt moved to Kansas for a while, and
Mike and I recorded with a project called The Lost Vegas.
yeah, we did a couple CDs
Yeah.
with them, and but it's always the one thing that we come back to. I mean, it's like it's always going to be there.
Gotcha.
So it's the one.
We are
I mean,
Fiendies.
it's yeah. Well, so and so you made the comment, Alex, that Fiendy is a state of mind, and that's might sound silly or whatever, but I mean, two brothers, a friend that we've known
He's a
forever.
brother.
I mean that is, and so we probably speak in tongues to some people that come, that come and hang out with us, and because we just have our own language in a way because we're that close. And so even though we haven't performed live for a while, and that for the longest time just wasn't important, we focused all of our energy into writing what we wanted to be the best songs we could do, recorded the best way that we could do it, so it's DIY, and I mean it took something like 10 years to record the last CD that we did. Just because we're all working, we all have families, and
There's a lot of stop-start in there.
yeah.
Yeah, our latest is, excuse me, is Building Streets and Names on Walls. It's
That's on Spotify, right?
on-
I think I've listened
available on
to it.
Spotify.
Yep.
Spotify, Apple,
iTunes.
Guys,
Yeah.
just shout it out.
What, Spotify, iTunes, Spotify.
Google Play.
Available everywhere.
But it is like they said, Alex said, it's a collection of stuff we had been recording for about 10 years, and we kept talking about let's try this project, or let's go this, and it's like let's take what we have and do something with it. And so we kind of got that out, which was really nice, and now we're ready to kind of move on and try new things.
So a decade's a long time. So you mentioned stopping and starting. Was there ever a moment where you were like, let's just not start again?
Not
No.
to me.
All the passion, just not
No.
all the time.
I mean, we
There's
know.
frustration for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
We're like taking so long, and Mr. OCD with his fucking mixes that take 2 weeks.
Well, and there's times we'd go 6 months without recording or whatever, and
Right.
but you knew eventually get back to it, and so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I started a electronic project in the early 2000s, and so after that, after it fell through. I mean, I actually had one song that a publishing house, quote unquote, picked up in London, and then they folded. So that was as far as that went. And then so we started talking about it, the three of us doing more electronica. Alex and I are very interested in it. He had some gear that would allow us to do that. So we, when we first started back, probably 2004, it had a little more of an electronica type feel, or we thought we wanted it to. But I think, and tell me if you're wrong, I mean, I think it is infused in some of these to a degree. There's
To a degree.
A hint of it.
Yep.
But we never really were able to get what we truly wanted from that off. And so we're just like, all right, well, no, let's do this and make this rock. But I think someday if we can ever retire, and we'll do electronica.
If you listen to Building Streets and Names on Walls, available on Spotify. Like I said,
Really sell it, man. Really sell
it's
it.
10 years. Like I said, it's 10 years, and you can kind of hear the different styles we were doing, the different
Yeah.
directions, and then we'd be working on this style, and then kind of like the next time we got together, it was like, well, it's this or that, and so.
Different production styles.
Yeah,
And that was a challenge when it came time to master the whole project, trying to make it sound as seamless as possible. That was tricky.
Yeah, that's something that I always really appreciate when you have albums that are pieced together in a way that they just flow from one song to the last song. I think that's really cool and really cool for the people who pay attention to that. I think that Coldplay is really great at that, especially damn it, I don't remember what the song is or the album is, but it was the one that Chris Martin wrote after he and whatever her name is got divorced. I think that those are some of the saddest love songs that I've ever heard.
Gwyneth.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Gwyneth, wasn't it?
When you name your kid Apple, I'm never gonna remember your name. Bottom line.
She's all about feeding people poison, right?
I think so.
Isn't that her latest
I think
thing?
that was what they cited when they
Was that
when
was
they
that slanderous?
uncoupled. That's right. I can't publish this now.
The lawyer's on the phone. Great.
I'll just run a big beep during that.
That's fine.
Yeah. So, what else was there that you guys wanted to talk about in this podcast? Anything new that you guys are up to?
No. So it's the live stuff now.
Summer shows, and then I've already started kind of trying to come up with some rhythmic ideas for new songs, but
Yeah, I think after.
That's interesting.
yeah.
So most people start off with either words or a melody or a riff, as we've already discussed. But sometimes you do your own.
Yeah,
rhythm?
I don't really care what Matt comes up with. I'm
Okay.
going to put whatever I want on top of it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
He's not lying.
I know. I believe him. I'm just having a hard time thinking of a slowish song, and he's just over here
It's like, nope.
It's like, but I had this in mind. Oh, yeah? Well, this is how it's going to go, because you're in my studio now.
Welcome to hell.
You're welcome to hell.
Studio.
We've got some ideas for new stuff.
Yeah.
I've got 2 songs that are pretty much done. We've got a catchy little catchphrase that we're going to see where it goes. And so after this range of gigs, then we'll start back at it.
Sweet. That'd be really cool.
What's the catchphrase? And the horse you rode in on? Oh yeah. Oh shh! Don't tell anybody.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna pretend like I didn't know that. Because I didn't. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining the Open Mic Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining the Open Mic Podcast. It was a really great time, and I hope to have you guys back after in 10 years when you guys really
With our canes.
yeah.
Thanks,
Great.
Noah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
guys
you.
so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Bye.
Bye.